Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about the yin and yang theory from Tao. In chapter 42, Lao Tzu mentioned that everything is made of yin and yang. The yin and yang must work against each other to reach harmony. A yin and yang theory is very important in Chinese philosophy. And this philosophy actually is from Taoism. We know that Taoism has even a deeper and wider influence on Chinese culture and other cultures from the Oriental area. A lot of people are familiar with Confucianism. They believe that Confucianism is the foundation of Chinese culture. Actually, the opposite is true, in my opinion. Before Confucianism became the official ideology of China, Taoism was more popular. To many scholars, Confucius actually is a further developed idea of De from Taoism. But anyway, today we're going to focus on the yin and yang theory. I have heard many times people around me talked about the yin and yang, although the pronunciation is a little bit different from mine. It doesn't matter, and the core is the most important. So, exactly what is the yin and yang? And I can give you some examples. We all know that Tao is kind of mysterious. It's ineffable. However, yin and yang is not hard to understand. We're going to talk about yin first. What is yin? Yin basically, the idea is from people from the past observing nature. For example, the darkness, the night, it can be described as yin. The moon belongs to the yin. According to Tao, the direction of north is yin, and any part that is shorter, lower belongs to yin, and negative is yin. Also, women belongs to yin. And I must point out that yin doesn't mean anything bad. It's just a symbol for us to describe the world, nature, the universe around us. So in general, anything inward, shrinking, or darker belong to yin. And then what is yang? Yang is the opposite. For example, the sun is regarded as yang, and the positive polar is yang. Anything strong, upward, expanding, hot, down belongs to yang. And we can tell that yin and yang are opposite to each other. Tao uses yin and yang to describe the duality of our world. So now we have a basic understanding of what yin is and what yang is. And the most important, of course, is to see the relationship between yin and yang. Many people are familiar with the yin and yang diagram. And when you search online, if you search for Oriental philosophy or Taoism, often you see that diagram with the black part and a white part. If you look closely, you notice they resemble the shape of a fish and they embrace each other. And if you look at it, it's like it's swirling. And then if you look closely, again, you will see two different dots. And one is a solid dot. The solid dot is in the white part. And also you see a white dot is in the black part. So this diagram actually is very accurate depiction of yin and yang theory from Tao. Now we're going to talk about in details what exactly that means and how we can use this theory to our daily life. Because Tao is never abstract. It's supposed to be used by everyday people to common situations. Okay, first, let's look at the diagram again. You will see two fish, black and white, embracing each other. So what does that mean? That means in our nature, in the universe, in things we can see or knowledge we have acquired, either it's the creation of the universe or your daily life or when you judge something, the yin and yang part always exist at the same time. You cannot have yin only and exclude yang or the opposite. For example, if you like somebody or if you're ready to marry somebody and that person looks perfect to you. However, that person must have the yin part, let's see. And if you like that person, you must you have to accept that person as a whole, good and bad. Here's another example for you. In our body, we have the yin part and the yang part. And for us to have the right circadian, the basic pattern for our life, our body has a sympathetic system. Also, we have a parasympathetic system. One system will make us going forward, excited, wants to do things. Another system will play its role at night. It will make you calm down, breathe deeper, and it will make your heart beat slower. So that way we can sleep better at night. And these two systems must coexist exactly the same time. So that way we can sleep and clean our body, clean our brain to prepare for the next day's activities. So in general, as Dao says, that yin and yang would coexist at the same time. And you had to be inclusive. You had to accept the good part and the bad part, the pleasure of life and the pain of life. So you got the idea. Let's look at the diagram again. I mentioned earlier, there are two dots in the yin and the yang. What does that mean? So that means in the yang part, you have the yin part. The yin part, the small dot represents either yin and yang. The solid part represents the yang, and the white dot represents the yang part. So the diagram shows in the yang part, it embraces the very beginning of the yang part. Vice versa, in the yang part, you also have the seed of the yin part. What does that mean? It means yin and yang constantly change, and it's dynamic. It's not static. And furthermore, yin and yang can convert into each other. That means yin could become into yang, and yang could become into yin. So this gives us hope that things can always be changed with the right conditions. And for each situation, it contains the force, the original power of the opposite. I like to use our own physiology to understand seemingly abstract ideas. Here, I want to do it again. For example, for our body, I don't care whether you're a man or a woman. Actually, in our body, as I mentioned earlier, yin and yang exist at the same time. So according to that, you are a man and a woman at the same time. And science says so too. And to be a man, the main hormone is the testosterone. And for a woman to be a woman, the main hormone that plays the major role is the estrogen. However, in our body, for a boy and a girl, your body has two hormones at the same time. Of course, the amount is different. However, if one gets more testosterone, and that person, even if she is a woman, she could become stronger, grows more muscles, and so on. In the animal world, there are similar situations too. For example, in an ant society or in a bee colony. And at the very beginning, the ants and the bees are the same. However, if you feed them different foods, let's say more protein, and then that ant or the bee can become a king or a queen, which is different from the working ants or working bees. And how can we apply it to our real life? The yin and yang theory just says, and good things can become bad things, and bad things can become good things. And we have the right, and we have the energy, and we have the mechanism to change our situation. For example, if you are in a poor situation, you want to make more money, or you want to lose more weight, or you want to improve your relationship, according to yin and yang theory. And that status quo is not a status quo. You can always change to the opposite because the seeds of change is embedded from the very beginning. I think the significance of that meaning is that things can be changed. We're not helpless. We can always change to the opposite if we are determined to. Dao says so. Finally, the yin and yang theory of Dao says that the two opposite forces, the dualities, must reach a harmony. must balance each other. And the yin and yang forces will always fight. They will try to find a solution, and they had to compromise. And sometimes yin is stronger, sometimes yang is stronger. However, to reach an equilibrium, they had to find a balanced solution. This observation of yin and yang also has significance in our daily life. For example, in our society, we face the widening gap between the poor and the rich. According to yin and yang theory, the poor and the rich will struggle against each other. However, they must reach a balance. And if we don't narrow the gap, and our society will be unstable, it could cause disturbance. Here's another example. I know our society is moving forward. It's doing better than 100 years ago. However, still today, there's a gender difference, and women don't get paid as high as men, even if they do the same job. According to yin and yang theory, this must be corrected. It has to reach a balance for the society to be stable. I'm glad we talked about the yin and yang theory today. And the yin and yang theory tells us that nothing is pure. It's not 100%. It's not absolute. We have both parts, and often they are opposing each other. However, that's the reality of our universe. It's not only our society, it's not only you and me, it's everything in this solar system. So the opposing forces, they will exist at the same time. And that will help us to have a bigger heart, to accept difference, either in a marriage relationship, or with your coworker, or with the presidential candidate. And they always have the good and the bad, and good and the evil. And so you have to accept two parts at the same time. And this yin and yang theory also tells us that yin and yang can change into each other. That gives us hope when we're in an adverse situation. Also, we have learned that yin and yang must reach equilibrium. So that means in our real life, we have to compromise. We have to compromise the yin and yang. Very often, actually, the solution is not here, but there. It's not in them, but in us. So, till then, can we find a balanced solution? Thank you for watching today. If you like my video, if you want to learn more about Tao, please subscribe. Please share and comment. Thank you.